I love the film so much. I think it had a we'll go into more details as the interview goes on, but it had a profound effect on me, this movie. But in terms of adapting a classic film, as you are in Ikiru here, and someone with as much kind of rich cinematic history as Kurosawa, it's always bound to be a daunting prospect. I'm just wondering about that balance in paying kind of homage and capturing the essence of what's come before, but creating something unique, something that is yours.
You first or me first?
You first. Starts with the script.
Okay, we'll start with the script first. But look, for me, I have to say, this is the Ikiru film is one I grew up with as a child. I was a Japanese kid living in England. I could see very few Japanese films. Ikiru was one of them. So, from about the age of 9 or 10, I knew this film, and it had a profound effect on me all the time I was growing up. And I think it's become a part of me. A part of the way my whole attitude to life and so on, I think, has been partly shaped by that film and what that film has to say. And so, I wasn't really thinking of it as, a classic film to adapt. I mean, it's almost like, something I lived with all my life that I wanted to bring to a new audience. And it's only when the film, started to get reviewed after Sundance, that I became hyper aware that there was this dimension to it, that everyone would compare our film to the original one. But this is stupid of me, but I wasn't really aware of that whole issue about, dare we take on this famous film. And I have to also add, actually, in reality, and I've kind of tested this a bit over the last few months, very few people have actually seen it. Ordinary cinema going people, you'd have seen it, but specialists have seen it, but the old film is fading out of collective memory.
But that kind of profound effect, that kind of idea of thinking about life and purpose and how we're spending our time, or sort of what little we have of it, in the best way, from an audience's point of view. I sort of, like I said, I sort of left the cinema and I just was thinking about all of these kind of profound things. So Oliver, I'll ask you, did making this project and sort of stepping into this world have a sort of indelible mark on you too?
You can never. I don't think you can ever make a piece of work and not let it in. I think it's kind of a necessary part of the process as a director, as a storyteller, is that you have to find something inside of yourself that connects. And with this particular film, it maybe was something that didn't feel immediately obvious to me about how I would connect with it. But the question of the film, the proposition of the film, the sharing of the story, what it's offering the audience is very much, as Ishiguro was saying, the original sort of fading from the collective memory. If you watch that film today, its impact and its question and its experience is as powerful as it was when it was first made. And so it was an opening of the door for me in terms of, okay, there is a value in me interrogating my own feelings about what I would do with limited time, and whether I am, even in my life at the moment, consciously aware of who I am and what I am, and if I feel that my journey in life is just a cog in a wheel, or am I experiencing something that I will sort of cherish.
And also that notion of wanting to kind of be remembered for something, to put something into the world that will outlive us, is a kind of quite lovely idea. In that regard, do you both feel quite fulfilled as creatives, writing and telling stories, as two people leaving plenty of stuff behind in the form of films and literature?
Well, I will slightly dispute what you just said there. I'm not sure if the film is actually saying, his life becomes worthwhile because he's left something. I think it kind of says his life has become worthwhile because in the act of trying to leave something, he was living to the full. That made the difference between a kind of wasted life and a life lived to the full. It doesn't depend on people remembering what he left, or acclaim, or even getting the credit for it. And I think that's a typical Kurosawa vision. The Seven Samurai, after battling in the rain against bandits for 4.5 hours or whatever it is, they don't get any credit for it at the end. They're forgotten. They serve their purpose. Nobody cares about them at the end. And that's a very Kurosawa kind of message. You don't do it for the acclaim. You don't do it for what people think about what you achieved afterwards. You do it for, when you're doing it, you're living the life that you can lead to the full. It's a very kind of existentialist message. And I feel that that's the kind of lesson I took from Ikiru when I was a boy and first saw the Japanese movie. And that I think that's the kind of message I would want people to take from it as we put it to a new generation now.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today, guys. Best of luck with the release of the film.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay,
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!